Hello there, viewers. Good day to you guys, and welcome to Rainman Ray's Repairs. Now, this particular video is going to be a little different than what I normally do. Usually what I do is run outside, grab my customers' cars, we run around, diagnose it, check it out, fix the problem, and then return it back to the consumer. As a side project and as a long-term strategy to preserve my LBZ 2007 Chevrolet Dually Silverado with a Duramax, I decided to undergo a frame-off restoration project. And one of the most major questions I see in the comment section about this particular build is how much money did it cost, and am I going to land better than if I had just run out to the dealership and bought a brand new 2025 Dually Duramax Denali. So let's bust out the calculating device here and let's find out. So I'm kind of going to do most of this from memory because realistically I do not have all the receipts. I've owned this truck since 2018. I bought it from a Hendricks dealership in, I think it was like a Dodge Chrysler dealership, just outside of Birmingham, Alabama. I found it on Auto Trader. Called the guy up at the sales department, gave him 500 bucks on a credit card, and I drove up there 2 days later on a Friday, and I bought the truck with a check from my bank. And I believe I paid $24,000 for this truck when I bought it as a used vehicle. It had 118,000 and some change miles on it. It was a two-owner vehicle, commercially owned from both owners, and it was used for farming duties. One guy hauled hay, and I think the other guy towed his horses around with it.
Does your truck have a Duramax diesel? Does it have an Allison transmission?
So we got 24,000 bucks in this truck, and then I immediately began depreciating it by putting it in front of a landscape trailer and driving all around the Gulf Coast of Florida cutting grass for Dollar General and Dollar Tree and some gas stations and Nordstrom's, and I had some like residential accounts too. But we drove around this thing and got it completely destroyed and full of garbage and crap and dirt and sand and sweat. We ruined it. We ruined it. We put 50,000 miles on it, towing trailers, and we wore the thing out. So it lost a whole bunch of its value from its original 24,000, but we were using it to make money at the time. So we're just gonna quantify the expenses, not the money that came in, just the money that went out. So real quick, before we kind of get into the meats and potatoes or whatever about like about quantifying the cost of this project, I kind of want to touch base on why I decided to do such things. And the story kind of goes back years, 20-something years ago, to tell you the truth. I was working at a tire shop in Georgia, and I did some work on one of these things. It was like a 2-year-old truck, super nice, beautiful interior. I had never really driven a diesel before, and I had to test drive this truck. And it was like driving around in a building that was built on top of a leather couch. Like, this was the coolest experience for a high school kid. And I wanted one of these things so bad. But they were like brand new vehicles. They were $40,000, $50,000. There was no way I was ever gonna get a hold of one of these things. But it left a lasting impression, and I always wanted one, but it was always out of reach. I mean, number one, I was a high school kid, and I had no business owning a dually truck. I had no business owning a full-size truck, and I had no business owning a diesel truck. But I wanted one. However, I'm not the person to just buy things because I want them, so I never ever pursued owning such a platform. Then one day, 20 years goes by, and I found myself in need of a truck. And I was actually shopping for a quad cab or a crew cab, single rear wheel, and I ran across this one, and I needed it to do some truck things because I had to upgrade from my old Suburban, which was a 1500 size chassis, and I needed at least a 2500 size chassis. I ended up with a 3500 dually, and I have no regrets whatsoever about the original decision to purchase this because I needed it and I wanted it. As the years went by, it proved itself to be a good, reliable truck, and it served its purpose. And I didn't want to get rid of it because it was something that I always wanted, but it was also in not the greatest of shape. So I decided it would be better off if I cleaned it up and made it nice and fixed all the disgusting snow. Or Lauren, what do you think about all that snow?
Man, it is
the flagpole like in the Christmas story.
That is so cool. I can't wait to try it. I just got off
the phone. I'm like making you.
I'm on the phone with Spectrum.
Or snow. Disgusting grass, dirt buildup that it got. I fixed any of the rust that it got, any of the damage that it took on when I was using it for landscape duty. I refreshed the brakes and the axles, and I made it mechanically sound. So at that point, you could say I had reclaimed the depreciation from when I used it for landscape grass cutting duty. And since it was now a mechanically sound vehicle, I was realizing how rare it kind of was, because it was getting a little older. And this is kind of the last of a specific generation before they put the big exhaust filters on the diesel trucks. So this is like the last of the Mohicans, so to speak. And I wanted to preserve it as a fine example. Not only that, this truck had sentimental value to me. My child came home from the hospital in this truck. It's been part of the family for an incredibly long amount of time. It's been remarkably useful. Plus, realistically speaking, this is one of the nicest vehicles that I've ever owned. I mean, I think this may have been like the second vehicle that I ever owned that actually had working air conditioner. Like this was a nice truck when I bought it. It was like one of the best things I ever bought for myself. And I wanted to preserve that because it held value to me outside of monetary value. And when I looked at it that way and I realized that this is something I wanted to keep around, something worth appreciating, it was a good example of some history, and there weren't going to be very many of these left over as the years went on. It's something I wanted to preserve for many reasons. So when it came down to making the decision on doing the restoration work on it and really bringing this thing up to a new level, I felt that based on all of those factors, to me it was worth it, and I saw the value in it. It's something that I wanted to do, and that's what I did, and that was the primary motivation for why this project took the traction that it did. Oh yeah, and then there's the obvious reason. We have a lot of natural disasters. This is 2025, people. This has been a fantastic truck for coping with natural disasters. I can kind of do whatever I want when we have one. I can drive through flood water, I can tow trailers, I can move equipment, I can run the power generator in the back and turn my house on so I have the internet and refrigerators and lights and fans and air conditioners, things like that. As a tool, it's incredibly valuable. As a backup plan, it's incredibly valuable. As a resource, it's incredibly valuable. And that just adds a whole extra layer of reasoning to why this project has come to fruition. So I hope you guys understand my motivations for doing this. It's not a vanity piece by any means. I'm not here to show off. I mean, there are far better vehicular examples that one could use to show off as a vanity project, and a pickup truck is not it. This is not a vanity project. I mean, come on. I still have the factory wheels on it. Seriously, look at that. Those are the Steelies that it came with. There's no vanity here. We're not doing that. Now, in order to bridge the gap of time, we're not going to count things like fuel expenses, money that the truck made, or let's go ahead and throw in like normal wear and tear, like tires and oil and things like that. So we're only going to add up maybe, let's call it the performance parts, you could say. So I guess we'll start with, well, let's start with the stuff staring at us in the face. Let's start with the big toolbox in the back. That was a weather guard box. If memory serves, that was 950 bucks. So we're gonna go 24,000 plus 950. We've got the fuel tank in the back right here. I think that was another 900. The pump system in the back, that was about 350. I've got a big giant set of power inverters back there and a huge 4D auxiliary battery. This toolbox is effectively a 6,000 watt generator that runs off the diesel engine's alternators. There's two of them. We'll get to that later. But I got that 4D battery. That was about $400. One of the inverters was about $200. The other inverter was about $350, I think. We're gonna call it 150 bucks for the wires and connections and hardware. So we're up to 27,000 bucks for the truck so far. Let's see, a tailgate cover, that was $400. Got the all metal rear bumper. We'll get around to that. Yeah, we're gonna start from the back side to the front side. Yeah, so I think this rear bumper back here YouTube mechanic. That rear bumper I think was about 750 bucks from realtruck.com. Let's see, this is a Kurt trailer hitch. I know that this receiver is a commercial grade 27,000 pound. That was 350 for that hitch. These lights were 50 bucks. This guy right here was another 350 for the pintle hitch and the receiver. Let's see, the tail lights, I probably paid $110 for those. That sounds about what I would pay for Chinesian tail lights. So that's good. Moving on, we got some mirrors up there. Threw those on, those are 200 bucks. Let's see, the little, what do you call them? Those little winglets above the windows, those were $50. I made a video about those a couple years ago. So we're up to $29,000. Let's see. We've got that 65-gallon fuel tank in there. That runs, I think it was like 1,400 bucks for that fuel tank. Now, before you guys get mad that I'm over here spending $30,000 on this truck, understand I've been buying these parts and collecting them and storing them for a long time. Hasn't been, I didn't go out and buy these one day on a credit card. I've been buying these over time for a very large amount of time, a couple years. Motor mounts, those were $450. It's up to 31 thou. We've got a aluminum drive shaft conversion. That was, I think, 1,100 bucks for the drive shaft. The oil filter bypass system, that was $450. Then we got the air dog system there. That's $950. That's for the fuel. That puts us at $33,900. That transfer case is custom built, high horsepower by Kodiak Trucks up north. That's a custom built unit, and I think that was $2,750 if memory serves for the transfer case. The transmission, that was 4,500 bucks for the trans, which I got a super cheap deal on that. I hope I don't blow it up. Those turbos, we're gonna call that turbo 2,200 bucks for a turbo. The pipes, 250. There's a down pipe that I still don't have yet. That was 150 bucks. Got a Banks exhaust system, that's 450. So we're up to 44 thou. The engine itself with the forged internals, the rebuilt block, machine shop work, connecting rods, new pistons, like pretty much the long block. I think that was $14,000 for a long block. That I did put that on a credit card. So we're up to 58 thou. We've got, let's see, put some Fox shock absorbers on there. We'll call that 600 for the set. The fuel injectors are S&S 30 overs. I think those were 4,000 bucks for the set of new ones. The fuel filter housing thing, call that 100 bucks. The CP3 pump, which is the injection pump for the injectors, I think that was like $1,100. Fuel injector lines, that's $400. Let's see, a starter, that was $275. Engine mounts were $300. The transmission mount was $110. We're up to $65,095. Holy smokes. The transmission lines, those are fleece trans lines. Those were 350 bucks for the set of the transmission cooler lines. Those connect to this AFE radiator. That's 1,000 bucks. In front of the AFE radiator, there is a Banks charge air cooler. I think that's another 1,000 bucks for those things. We're up to $67,000. There is the PSC oversized steering gear. I think that was $450, maybe. 400 for, no, I'm sorry, 200 for the axles. I have upgraded axles in the front, the CVs. I've got an upgraded front drive shaft here. That was 600. We also have a Banks engine oil cooler for the Duramaxes. That was, oh, I think those retail for 650, right? Got a BD Power driver's side exhaust manifold that takes out a factory pinch in the manifold. That was 200 bucks. We're up to 69,000 something and some change dollars. What else am I forgetting here? Let's see, it's got a Banks intake system. That was 250. 69,500. Oops, can't do math. 60, come on, 69,500 plus 250. My math is not mathing correctly. So we're 69,750. We're gonna call this 70,000. We're at $70,000. Alright. I gotta go rethink my life. Hang on, there's more. We got a water pump in there. That was what did that water pump cost? $250. Let's see, there's an ATI super damper down there. That was 900 bucks. Had to have that. So we're 71,000. That secondary alternator over there from DC Power. That's like a 300 amp alternator at idle. That was 600 bucks. Add that. And then I think I'm gonna add like another 4 grand for miscellaneous hardware, things like, I don't know, control arms. I've changed bushings, maybe some brakes, bearings, things like that. I think that's a fair assessment at 4,000 bucks. And so that's about everything on the outside. We're at $75,750. That's a lot of dough. Let's let the cab down. Let's take a look inside, and we'll go through the list on the interior next. Oh, cab's coming down. We haven't seen the cab down on this thing in months, have we? Tight squeeze still. Okay. Alright. Yeah, that's about as close as I want to come down with it right now. We don't want to smash things and ruin things. Gotta have spotters for this kind of stuff right here. So anyway, let's grab the quackulator. We're gonna kind of climb back in. Guess we'll start back here. So this truck has been converted to a Cadillac Escalade two-tone gray and black, or sorry, gray and dark gray interior with wood grain trim. These are from a Cadillac SUV, like it's Escalade EXT, I think. Headliner's been redone with suede. I've got bucket or captain's chairs, rear seats that came out of an 02, I think it was a Yukon. So we've got a set of seats back here. Those were 300 bucks on eBay. The door panels, I think, were 400 bucks for the set. Plus I spent another 200 on materials to refurbish them. The front seats came out of a 2004 Chevy Avalanche, I believe. Climb up in here. Ooh, I don't have my running boards anymore. Oh, I forgot the running boards. Let me add those up. Running boards, $700. I remember those. Yep, so I think the front seats, I paid 600 bucks for the captain's chairs. The Escalade center console, that was $200 from eBay. The Escalade front whole dash assembly business, that was $350 on eBay. The headliner, that was 50 bucks. That includes material. That was all labor on that one. Let's see, I have replaced all of the insulation and sound matting material inside. That was, I think, 300 bucks to soundproof everything. What else am I forgetting? I know there's more in here. Oh, that front gauge cluster, those are $250 for a rebuilt gauge cluster. Let's see, some bank stuff. We'll call these, I'll call that 500 bucks in gauges and tuners. And I think let's see, I got this custom switch panel up here that I built with a trailer. That's my trailer brake controller. That trailer brake controller was $125, I think. And I'm gonna call it 200 for the switches and everything else that I built. So we're at $79,925.00. And I've just made an entire YouTube video of a calculator. But wait, there's more out here. I have the front bumper assembly. That's a ranch hand. That guy was $1,400 if memory serves. That puts the guesstimated total thus far at $81,325. So if we round that up and be very gross with it, we can call it, we'll call it $90,000. I have $90,000 in a full-size Chevrolet truck that's custom built and almost brand new to my exact specifications. And it's been stretched out over the period of what year is it? 2025? 7 years? 6-7 years? And I've been doing the build on it, collecting parts for about 2 or 3. Yeah, that's not bad. I think that's fair. It's fiscally responsible-ish because I'm not paying interest on a car loan, and it's appreciating in value. And I think it's worth more as it sits, well, running and driving condition. I think this is worth more than what I have put into the vehicle so far. And that does not count any income that I have generated by using said vehicle. So if we factor in that section of it, even to this day, this vehicle is still a net positive. I'll take that. That's a win. So I got a $100,000 truck. What do you guys think? A $100,000 2007 Chevrolet Silverado dually. And that's something never thought I'd see the day. These things were like 50 grand when they were brand new. Here, let's ask Skynet. Skynet tells us that a brand new 2006 Silverado 3500 dually had an MSRP starting at $24,060 for the work truck version, and the higher trim levels came in around $38,850. So I'm gonna say this one was the 38 version because it's the dually, it's the crew cab, it's the Duramax, it's 4-wheel drive. So I would say this one was a little bit higher up on the tier because you could have got a single cab, short box, gas powered dually for the 24, and this is not that. So I would say 38 is about what this truck would have been valued at when it was brand new. Let's check out a brand new one and see how much a 2025 Silverado for sale. We'll see how much those cost. Okay, here we go. We got a winner. 2025 3500 dually. Oh, that's a pretty truck. 88 thou. So mine costs more than this one does with the 10-speed non-Allison transmission. Jet black, diesel. Yeah, that's a nice one. I don't want it though. Let's see, 54. That's a gasser. I bet you this is a gasser for 54,000. Let's see. Tampa, 53,797. Blah blah blah. Drivetrain, automatic, 4-wheel drive, 6.6 gas engine. See that? What they did there? They got a 6.6 diesel. Is that designed to confuse people? But yeah, that's the gasser. Knew that was a gas one. Let's see, we got another one. Here's a 25 3500 Silverado. This will be the last one we check. Class 3, 14,000 pound GVWR, 4-wheel drive, high country. That's the nice trim package. Diesel V8, the L5P, and we're coming in at 92,000 sticker price, $92,000. So yeah, I'm comparable. I have not exceeded the cost of a new one, and I didn't have to front this entire cost all at one time, so I'm good with it. Plus, you guys got to see a lot of really cool stuff, and I think that has some intrinsic value all on its own that cannot be quantified because we were all here together. So anyway, guys, speaking of being here together, I got to kick you guys out. I have some cars to work on. I just figured I would take this opportunity to present some Q&A on this particular build right here. I know some of those numbers may seem kind of crazy, but when you're dealing with heavy duty equipment, that's a realistic number. So don't be mad at me for spending $100,000 on my car. Like I said, I stretched it out over a period of years, and I can justify that in my man brain, so that's that. Anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this situation in the comment section down below. Don't forget to engage that like and subscribe button while you're down there. And don't hate me for breaking rule number 1 on YouTube, talking about money. But I'm bold like that. See you guys in the comment section. Have a great day. In a video, in a Silverado, end of transmission.